What's going on, guys? It's Gendo here, and welcome to episode 43 of The World's First. If you're still enjoying the series, please go and hit that like button. Lets me know that you're still interested. Now, it's our first season here in the Vanarama National League, and our first match is against Gateshead, but of course, we had a whole off season to bring in some new players, and unfortunately, some players had to leave the club because they didn't want to sign new contracts. And some of those players were very vital for me getting up into the National League. So let's take a look at the outs first before getting to the ins. The only player I was able to sell for money was Lewis Kennedy up to AFC Wimbledon, who are sitting in League 2 for a fee of £6,000. Now, he wasn't completely vital to us on this team, plus I brought in a couple more center backs to try and strengthen that area of the squad. So when AFC Wimbledon came in for him, I said, yes, you are surplus to requirements, it is time for you to go. So away goes Lewis Kennedy, but the next two players, I'm really sad that they were not able to sign new contracts. And those two players are Anthony Steer and Ryan Davies, the two strikers that helped us get up into the Vanarama National League because they scored 40 goals all by themselves. Anthony Steer just said that he didn't have very much the same ambitions with the club, but to be quite honest with you, when I see him sitting out here in free agency and nobody's coming in for him, and I tried to re-sign him with a contract and he keeps saying no, really leads me to believe that Anthony Steer is a little big-headed and thinks that he can, take like a League One team by storm, but as it stands, nobody's going after him. Unlike Ryan Davies, who does have a couple of teams going in for him, but like I said, him and Anthony Steer were two vital cogs in my 4-3-3, scoring, like I said, 40 goals between him, and for him not to re-sign a contract to us it's going to hurt us in the long run, especially since we really need to keep afloat in the National League. And there are the rest of the free transfers: Charlie Gorman, Przespolewski, Batten, Tarby, Parks, and Vassell, all leaving on free transfers, either just out in the open market or, in the case of David Parks, to Rugby Town. And now getting to the ins, and one of the strikers that I had sought after for last month after knowing Anthony Steer and Ryan Davies weren't coming back, it's Liam Davies, no relation. The 25-year-old Englishman is coming in from Stamford for a fee of £18,000, and I don't think that's a record, but I think it's very, very close for a transfer fee in. As you can see, his finishing stats of 12, his composure's a 12, his off the balls of 13, teamwork 15, his pace and the rest of his physicals look okay. And to be quite honest with you, he's been lighting it up in the off-season, in the preseason I should say. Hopefully he can fill in nicely during the 4-3-3 that we're going to use in the regular season. Strengthening our defense is a 19-year-old by the name of Andrew Stott, who we brought in from Camel Laird for the fee of £2,000. And like I said, he's only 19 years old, plenty of time to develop. As you can see, his physicals and his speed, not all that spectacular, but he does have great defensive attributes and can win the ball in the air, even being 5'11", 14 heading, 13 marking and tackling. His positioning needs a little bit of work, but I'm sure with time he can work on that as well. Teamwork is awesome. He's very aggressive, not very brave though, which is not a good stat to have if you're a center back, but like I said, I'm sure he can work on that. Center back helping out to strengthen the side. We brought in one of the lone highlights for Corby Town last season because, let's be honest, they weren't all that good. Carl Piergianni, the 29-year-old center back, for only £1,000. And to be quite honest with you, yes, he's a little bit on the older side, but I want to try and use his wisdom and his leadership to help mentor up some of the young center backs that I just recently picked up. And yes, his defensive stats are average, his speed is average, his aerial ability average as well. But like I said, I'm not going to try and use him every day. I want to try and use him to mentor up some of the center backs and better them to help out with the squad. Case in point, Junior Sunday, a guy who we scouted during the England trial days, a 21-year-old who looks fairly solid in his stats, but he needs to work up his speed and his physicality. I mean, I like his marking and tackling, a 12 and 14 there, but a 9 in the pace and a 5 in the stamina definitely needs to work up on that. But I'm going to try and rotate him in to the squad as much as possible just to give him some first team action, and hopefully he'll develop into a very competent center back for this level. And plus, look at his hair. How can you pass that up? Another player we brought in from the England trial days is Rob Foster, the 18-year-old striker. Has nowhere to go but up, in my opinion. A 10 in finishing, 10 composure, 13 off the ball, so he's got decent abilities to work as a striker. And then his pace, 12 pace, 12 acceleration. I like that he's fast, and I hope they can get around some of these defenders in the Vanarama National League. The pickup of Joe Whittleson was more out of necessity because Scott Duxbury went out with a double hernia just a couple of weeks before the season starts, so he's going to be out for 2 months. Joe coming in, he's 32 years old, and quite honestly, almost the same exact stats as Scott Duxbury, so it's like I haven't really lost Duxbury whatsoever. I mean, with a 12 marking, 12 tackling, and plus being out on the wing, I'm trying to use him to cross the ball into the box as much as possible. So an 11 in that stat, that's really, really nice. He's losing a little bit of pace. He's got 10 there and 11 acceleration, but you know what? That's exactly what Scott Duxbury has. So, as I said, Joe Whittleson, and Scott Duxbury, almost exactly the same person. And finally, I'd like to think that I have a competent goalkeeper now in Cameron McCullough. The 22-year-old has so much better stats than Luke Chambers that Luke is more likely just going to be relegated down to bench duty. I mean, take a look at the polygons. He's so much better, and I'm glad that I'm only paying $7,000 a year for him. I want to try and hold on to him as long as possible. He's better than Luke Chambers in pretty much every way except for mentals and communication, but that can always be worked on. Cameron McCullough, definitely the #1 goalkeeper for the squad right now. And even with the various ins and outs, I still am going to work with the 4-3-3, and I do have the 4-4-2 narrow diamond here just in case we lose a striker and I drop everyone back. I do still have Tom Marsden. I loaned him back in. I loaned back in Dylan Pierce because of this reason. If we drop down to the 4-4-2 narrow diamond, I do have their attacking center mid and defensive mid abilities on hand. But of course, both Dylan and Tom can play in their pushed up roles in center mid and striker respectively, but they're definitely not going to be first choice in that area. So still going to go with these two formations and hopefully see that they work in the Vanarama National League. If not, then of course tweaking is necessary. But let's get into the first match now versus Gateshead at home. Let's start this National League campaign off with a good start. And it looks like 4-4-2 is going to be bog standard here in the National League as well. I mean, simplicity is key down here in the lower leagues, but of course I want to try and put him on the back foot from the off, and this is what our starting lineup is going to be. McCullough in net, McCoy, Stott, Woodward, and Whittleson along the back line. The three center mids will be O'Brien, Pierce, and Jones, because I don't think that anybody else is available, and I'm still having this little bit of a bug. Ryan Freshwater is still ineligible. He's still not playing any other matches aside from this, so I don't know why he's ineligible. And then the three strikers up front, Liam Davies, Rob Foster, and Elliot Pond. Benny Igihan, I know I said that he was going to be moved on at the end of the season. Well, with the loss of Anthony Steer and Ryan Davies, Benny Igihan has to stay on. So he is playing on the bench today. Junior Sunday, Marsden, Piergianni, and Declan Jones, the rest of the bench. So this is what we're going to go with. Cross fingers. Hopefully we do well and open the National League with a solid result. But let's kick off and see what happens. Interesting to note, too, that it's going to be a goal. Interesting to note, too, that the Coach and Horses ground is planned to be expanded up to 5,000 seats. It's currently 3,000 right now, but it is in the works that the stadium is going to be expanded up to 5,000. Whether that's this season or next season, who knows? Actually, like I said, we're playing in the Coach and Horses ground right now, so maybe next season. But already 7 minutes in, we have ourselves the ball. We're being pushed backwards, though. Whittleson trying to find Elliot Pond over the top, but it is cut out by a Gateshead player. 18 minutes gone, and now Gateshead on the ball. Nice tackle from Andre Jones. Does manage to win it, but not in a good spot as he's being surrounded by Gateshead players. Able to play it out, though. Foster tries to get it through to McCoy, but it's a very bad pass. But once again, another bad pass, and Sheffield with the ball. People are very very content with playing it in the middle of the park. Though we switch it up on the left side. Whittleson getting inside to Liam Davies, and he just misses the post again. 28 minutes gone, a ball coming into the box. Gateshead still with it, still in a very dangerous area. It's flicked on, it hits the crossbar. Dumb pass. And Gateshead clear the ball and clear it out. Now they could hit us on a counter. Coming inside still to Mullerin, and there it is. Very unfortunate. I thought that we would have had something, but Liam Davies just didn't pick out the right pass and allowed Gateshead to hit us on a counter, and they take the lead. I mean, it's some good movement. I can't fault him for that. We did try to mark him down, but that left us wide open at the back. 2-on-2, and Gateshead there just picking it up. Some decent passing movement, getting it out to Whittleson on the wing, brings it inside to Liam Davies, out to McCoy. McCoy should do well to pass it off, but he took a shot. Halftime, and we have not been doing very well with our chances. We haven't been taking care of the ball Even though we've had more possession, it's just the passing, the bad passing, trying to slip it through into the box and nobody's there. Gateshead then hitting us on a counter. It's not working. This attacking is not working right now. And I don't know what to say about it. I feel that we should be level with Gateshead. It should be 0-0. Or at the very best, 1-0 to us, because Liam Davies, of course, missing 2 prime chances in front of the net. So let's just go back out there. I'm pretty sure we'll get a goal in this. I have faith in the team, so not going to make a lot of changes. Second 45, let's go back out there. It's a corner kick for us. Liam O'Brien tries to go far post, flicking it on. Christian Woodward tries to get into the box. It's all bouncing around, and how did we not score there? That's rather disappointing. Elliot Pond off of a bad pass by Gateshead, flicking it through. Some good one-touch passing, but we can't get it through the back line. We're able to get the ball back, though. Liam O'Brien finds McCoy out on the right, crossing it in. Benny Igihan, showing why I did keep him on. He is subbed in, and now the super sub scores the goal, and we level it at 1 apiece just past the hour mark. Benny Igihan, I mean, that was some great passing just to get out to McCoy, and then a nice cross in. Benny beating his man. I thought it was a header, but it was a rising karate kick, and Sheffield have leveled the match. Now here we go, 3 minutes later, Pond to Widowson, playing it up the left wing. That's a really bad pass as Gateshead cut it out. And could possibly hit us on a break here. I mean, they do have men coming forward. Mulhern coming up the right, brings it inside. Oh my god. Gateshead now is flipping it through. It's Mulhern. He's one-on-one with the keeper, but it's good block by the defense, and we're able to clear the danger. 5 minutes to go, and honestly, the strikers that I had to start out there in Elliot Pond and Liam Davies didn't do as well as I thought they would. It took Benny Igihan to come on and score the goal. Maybe that means that I probably should start him from here on out. But as you can see, 2 minutes of stoppage time. This is going to be the last attack. It's a corner kick. Liam O'Brien, or Lewis O'Brien, excuse me, getting the ball into Liam Davies. And he's being pushed out wide. The ref's going to blow his full-time whistle. It's 1-1, which isn't a bad start to the National League. I mean, could have done a lot better, especially in the first half, but we were able to come on in the second with Benny Igihan scoring the goal and keeping us from losing any points, or actually I should say keeping us from not getting any points on the first day of the season. Of course, it's the first in a long season. There's 46 matches plus the cups, so not going to worry about this too much. Let's take a look at the schedule and see when we're going to come back next. So this is what the schedule looks like, at least for the first half of the season. And to be quite honest with you, there's quite a bit of teams in here that I thought would have been either further up or further down. Like Ebbsfleet, I thought they would have been in League 2. Loughborough University's meteoric rise has stalled. They came in 7th place last year in National League, so they're staying here for another season. Braintree, Lincoln, Telford, once again, I thought they would have been in League 2 at this point. Alfreton, thought they would have been down in the regional leagues. And then Maidstone. We're going to come back versus Maidstone here, another team I would have thought would have been in the regional league. So, just taking a look at that, definitely some points to be had, but it is still early in the season. Anything can happen. And it doesn't really matter where we stay as long as we're not in the relegation zone. So when we come back, it's going to be Maidstone. Maidstone at home. So until that time, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please go and hit that like button. Let me know if you're still interested in the series, as well as subscribe if you're new and you want to see more FM content on the channel. Any comments, suggestions, questions, anything else, please leave in the comment box below. But as always, this is Gendo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and peace out.